Hey, y'all.
What's up?
Okay, first of all, I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, it's been a little break. We had a good little break, but we're back.
We needed it.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We're
you
just
had
girls.
a birthday.
I did.
How was your birthday?
It was busy. I did a lot for said daughter.
You're a mom.
Yeah.
Mom first means birthday second.
Yeah. She went to her 8th grade dance and I got to get her dressed and all that. It was super fun.
I love that. But you had time off. I
did have time off.
Okay, good.
I went shopping. Like,
yes, as you should.
Correct.
Yeah. It's so crazy to me because a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody about their birthday, a lot of times I'll be talking to people and they don't even take time off for their fucking birthday.
No,
which
they
I
go
think
to work.
is so weird.
They go to work.
I haven't worked a birthday
Never.
in 10 years.
I will never work on my birthday.
No. I will
it's
call
a national holiday
if you even suggest it.
Right.
Yes, a national holiday.
Thank you.
So, yeah, y'all, we are really going to be getting into PTO lore today because it is deep. And we personally have a Roman Empire of a story that happened
horrific
at our last job.
Yeah, we have to unpack those layers of what happened. I'm excited. It's juicy.
I know.
Yeah.
It really, looking back, it was really the downfall of our time there. Like, that was the downhill trajectory. And you left first and then I left. But it started really with that, I think.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of our migration from leaving this company.
The beginning of the end.
Hello.
Damn. So, yeah, and it's really crazy because it's something like half of Americans don't even use their PTO.
No.
And you still have trouble from corporate spaces taking PTO. And it's like, okay, well, not everybody's even using it. So what's the fucking problem if I take off? But you know what? That's exactly why people don't take off is because they get so much backlash all the time from like management and things like that. And it's a culture thing. It's
not me.
Not me either.
No.
It's a culture thing in corporate where they
look down on you for taking PTO. Or they make it feel like it's a burden for you to want to take a mental day or something like that. So
yeah, and that's why people hesitate to do it. It's like the stigma around it and then just feeling like guilty. I have never felt guilty in my life about taking off.
Absolutely
in fact,
not.
I will say deplorable shit to get time off. I like literally don't care. Like I have lied and schemed my way into time off.
Whatever gets it approved, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Correct.
And I want a good enough lie that you're not going to call me while I'm off.
Well, even if you do call me, I'm just not picking up.
Right.
You know what that out of office message reads.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't play with me.
We're getting into it today. I mean, this is a wild story. And this one we're going to have to do 2 parts.
Yeah. Because it's just, listen, grab your tea because it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot as hell, y'all.
Okay, so I want to talk about, some good, healthy habits that company show for taking PTO and then some toxic habits. So
yeah. I know the toxic ones.
Of course we do. We experience them every day. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Messaging you when you're on PTO.
Yeah.
Hey,
when you're off.
Yeah. Can you log in real quick and check this out for me?
Yeah.
No,
can't do it.
No, I can't.
Or when they try to discourage you from taking time off in the first place, like, oh, I know we're going to be super busy around that time, so maybe you can consider. I don't give a fuck when you're going to be busy.
Yeah. The guilt trip.
Yeah.
They try to like guilt trip
That's
you.
a you problem. I'll be off. Prepare the others. That is what PTO means.
Yes.
So it's just and I had that happen to me a lot of times where it was just like it was told to me that it was like not good. It's not a good time. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we're talking about my wedding, so right. I won't be here. It's like shit like that.
But when else are you supposed to take it?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Some of the positive things or the healthy things that I look for is when I notice a manager like take PTO time off and they fully disconnect from work.
Yeah. You cannot reach them.
You cannot reach them.
The out of office is on.
That laptop is closed.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Or like when you have one-on-one meetings with them and they regularly check in. Hey,
When's the last time you took off?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice. I don't know what that feels like, but that's nice.
My current job now, they do it.
They do that.
And it's so
I love
not
that
normal.
for you.
Yeah. I was just like, what do you mean, when am I taking the day? I don't know.
You care about me?
I need a mental health day? Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or they advocate for you to take extended weekends for like holidays or something like that. Like we just had Memorial. And one of my managers reached out and they said, hey, anybody wants to take Tuesday off for an extra long weekend?
That's crazy. Yeah.
I do.
I love that.
Yeah. So those are just like some good traits.
Those are green flags.
Yes.
Those are green flags.
Yes.
And that is what you should be looking for. And if they're resisting that or you're not finding that, then it's definitely like it's toxic as fuck.
That's a red flag if you're not finding it.
If you're not finding it, yeah.
Correct.
And then the managers that are like, they love to like overwork and shit. And then they're just like, do you see how much I love the country? And it's just like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ones that are just like obsessed and then they like project that onto you.
Yeah. And they want you to follow suit.
Yeah. It's fucking annoying.
No.
But yeah, you're right. There is some green flags to look for, and sometimes that happens. But in my experience, it's pretty bad.
That's
out
terrible.
There. There's a war on PTO.
It is. It's a fucking battle, and we will win.
We will win. Exactly.
We won this one for sure.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Yes.
I will go ahead and give one spoiler. We won.
Victory was ours. Oh, it was so sweet. It was so sweet.
I have to say, I have so many stories from my time working in corporate, and that one is one of the most satisfying because of the outcome. It was just, I
thought I was in a Twilight Zone. I said, is this real? I
ascended out of my body and I was floating above, just in peace. I was in peace. It was wonderful.
It was one for the books. I love telling people about it, especially the people that still work there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened.
So you had an experience at our last job. Would you classify it as traumatic?
As fuck, yes. Okay. I still have nightmares about this shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to get into it. But, I mean, looking back on it, like, what do you think is the most egregious part of it?
I want to say, like, the contingencies that we received.
The email list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The back and forth communication that was taking place. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Because I thought that I had a better relationship with this manager.
Yeah.
And going through that highlighted that I didn't.
You didn't.
Yeah.
This happens a lot.
It does.
I want everybody to know. Your manager is not your fucking friend.
And that's where I dropped the ball. Because I thought that she was.
Stick with me.
It was a hard lesson to learn.
Stick with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't fuck around about that shit.
You don't.
So, it's okay. We're getting into it, though.
We are.
We are going to heal from this today.
Please.
Okay? It's time to tell our story, all right? And for the purposes of what we're talking about, because based on a true story, we're changing names.
Yeah.
So we're going to be using Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got Kenya Moore.
She is one of the managers.
Okay. She's the top manager.
She's the top manager in this lending department.
Right.
Correct.
And then we have Cynthia Bailey, her little minion.
She's the manager beneath Kenya.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hierarchy was you report to Cynthia Bailey and Cynthia Bailey reports to Kenya Moore.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then who does Kenya Moore?
Hold on, tidbit.
Okay.
We used to work directly under Kenya Moore.
Right.
Before Cynthia Bailey got there. Yes.
Yes. Cynthia Bailey was new to the cast.
Yes.
We initially both, at some point, I had worked under Kenya Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to another team. you were then working under Kenya Moore, and then Cynthia Bailey got hired.
Yes, by Kenya Moore.
Right.
Keep that little tidbit.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes.
That is a key
Kenya
component.
Moore hired Cynthia Bailey.
Yes.
All right. And then who does Kenya Moore report to?
Kenya Moore reports to Andy Cohen.
All right.
Who is VP over this lending department.
All right. Got it. Okay. And then we have some side characters.
We do have some side characters.
Okay, so we have Marlo Hampton.
Yes.
And that is HR.
Yes, that's HR.
Okay. And then we have
Kim
a
Zolciak.
small friend of the show.
Yeah. Kim Zolciak makes an appearance.
Yes. Kim Zolciak makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's get into it. So tell us what went down, how this shit even started.
Okay, so I worked in titles department with one of my very close friends.
Two-person team.
Two-person team. We're gonna call her Stony.
Yeah.
And she graduated. Her birthday was coming up, and she came to me and said, "Hey, LeAndra, I want to plan a trip to Thailand, and you have to come." Because I said, we're a two-person team,
Mm-hmm.
and this can either go really good or really bad. But I was like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
ask
some
them.
of the stigma around PTO. And immediately when you start thinking about
You feel
taking
bad.
time off for yourself, you feel bad.
Yeah.
And it's like this crazy percentage. It's like 78% of Americans feel guilty about taking. I'm not one of them, but 78%
I
of.
was on that day.
I'm sorry for
Yeah,
you.
I am.
They feel bad about
Yeah.
taking PTO. They feel guilty,
And
about
that's
it.
why they don't take it.
Yeah, and part of that guilt comes from them worried about other people taking the workload.
Mhm.
It's not even so much always just like this company thing. It's like you just care about your coworkers and
Yeah.
you don't want them to pick up your slack while you're gone.
Or possibly having to come back to a massive
That too.
shit
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. You feel
Yeah.
like I'm going to be punished if I take off because it's just going to put me behind.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like I didn't even fucking take vacation because when I
Exactly.
come back, it's just still like everything's backed up.
And unfortunately for us, we were a two-man team.
Right. Right.
So with both of us being gone, I just knew.
But it's your best friend. You only live once, and you both want to go to Thailand. She just graduated, and it's her birthday.
Correct. And I told her, okay, you ask them. I'm going to support you.
I got you.
I got you, big dog.
Yeah. But I'm not asking.
I'm not asking. So our new manager at the time,
Cynthia Bailey.
Cynthia Bailey,
Hmm.
she called us into her office for a meeting, and this is where Stony brings up the trip. And her initial response was, yeah, I want you guys to go. I want you guys to have that experience. I think it'll be great.
She sounds just like that.
Yeah, she did. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, that was easy.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
we walked out there feeling victorious.
So naive, so young.
So naive. She did mention that she would just have to run it by Kenya Moore.
Uh-huh.
And then she would let us know when we can go ahead and submit our time off.
All right.
So maybe 1 or 2 weeks go by, still haven't really heard anything. At this time, Andy Cohen, he comes into our department and he just makes small talk and he says, oh yeah, your trip, that's gonna be exciting.
Well, it's already making the rounds.
And I said, yeah, it is. We're just waiting to be able to submit it.
It's so weird. It's almost like they treated it like a scandal right off the bat. They were like, oh my God, they're going to Thailand together. Like,
Well, Andy, he didn't give off.
it's just them still already talking about it.
Yes.
That's weird to me. Like, you have just had a conversation with your direct manager,
Mm-hmm.
and she made it clear that she'd have to talk to her manager because you're a two-person team. But then all of a sudden the fucking VP comes in, and he's like, oh, I heard you guys are taking a trip. And it's like, whoa. Why is this making the rounds? Like, it's already a big deal.
And also, I didn't know that it had to be approved, like, through him as well at the time. Like, I thought it was just going to
Well,
Kenya, and that was it.
as somebody who's worked there a long time,
Mm-hmm.
worked there
ED.
a long time ago, that is not true. She could have approved it without him. She could have. I almost feel like they wanted to just add this theater to it, to plot twist.
discourage you.
Really, Andy? Nobody took him serious.
Well, it's the title.
I guess.
They get to say, oh, we have to talk to the VP.
Well, based on how he was talking to me that day, it didn't really faze me. He was just making small talk. But in my head, I hadn't gotten any feedback on us going ahead and submitting it. So I was just like, all right, what are you saying?
Yeah, to me, though, I already see the red flag that it's even been talked about with him. You know what I mean? Because when you had the conversation initially with your manager, she only said, okay, I just need to talk to my manager.
And that manager went to Andy.
Correct. That's the red flag.
Yeah, okay.
Because why has it made it all the way up to the top already? We're talking about, I'm going to reiterate this several fucking times.
Yes.
We're talking about you and your friend taking time off of work. That's it. Period. There's a period at the end of that. And already the VP knows, oh, LeAndra and Stefania are going to be out at the same time. And to be honest, that's a company issue. And already they're talking about it as though
it's this big deal. Yeah.
Those are red flags. Those are precursors.
Jeez,
Keep going.
So he's talking, he's probing, and in the midst of him chatting with me, Cynthia Bailey, she walks up.
I can't stand Cynthia Bailey.
No, we cannot.
The real one or the fake one? To be honest with you.
Yes.
But go on.
She walks up and she just kind of like keeps the conversation. And, you know, I'm probing Andy because I'm just like, just say we can go.
Yeah.
Just say it. And that initially that's what he did. And she's just like, oh, well, I gotta send them something. Hold on. I gotta send them something.
So Andy Cohen was talking to you and Stoney, and Cynthia Bailey came up and was like, oh, wait. I do have to send them something first.
Yes.
Don't just...
Yeah, she was like, don't just go in and, you know,
just put like a little asterisk on it. Yeah.
Just hold on.
Oh.
I said, okay, whatever that means. And he leaves. And maybe 30 minutes later, we get this email. Dun, dun, dun. This email.
Yeah.
This email was insane because it outlined 7 contingencies.
Who is the email from?
The email was from Cynthia Bailey, and it had Kenya Moore CC'd on it.
Okay. So your manager, her manager.
Me and Stoney.
To you and Stoney.
Yes. These 7 contingencies outline things
The 7 deadly sins.
I mean, yes.
The 7 I'll never forget it.
And I have to be honest, before we get into them specifically, when I initially read them, I was agreeing to more than half because the goal was to get the trip.
Right.
That's all I was worried about.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to get this trip.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the part that gets under my skin.
Yeah.
People are so fucking conditioned to be so like
a yes man.
Yes.
And that's what I was at.
And they create that culture. They
Mm-hmm.
create that stigma. And they put you in that box where you think that you are asking too much, or you are somehow an inconvenience for asking to take time off. And I want to reiterate again something I love to do when we tell this story. You actually earn your PTO.
Correct.
By working. So the only reason you get to take time off is because you've been working.
Mm-hmm.
And the time has been accruing. So it's like so fucking weird and ironic to me that I get backlash for taking time that I earned because I've been working.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. Okay, keep going.
Let's get into these contingencies.
All right.
So the first one was, and just keep in mind, we did title work. And we did
Time sensitive stuff.
Yes.
Title work is you're doing all of the filing. We talked about this in
our episode 1. We did.
Yes, but you're doing all of the filing, lien placement, securing titles.
We're doing DMV runs. We're doing special favors
for the entire credit union.
And it's just the 2 of us.
Yes, which again is a company problem,
not ours,
not yours. Because you should never. That work should never be a 2-person team.
Never.
But it's very, very important, specialized work that only the 2 of you know how to do. Mm-hmm. And they made it that way on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But keep going.
right.
Do you remember all the contingencies?
I remember the most egregious ones,
Okay.
but I did outline the other ones.
All right, I remember some of them too.
Okay, so the first one was we both had to be in office the week before our trip. Okay. We also had to be in office the week afterwards.
Because y'all switched off. So
Yes.
you guys were like a hybrid team. So there would be like 2 weeks where you're in office and then Stoney's home and then vice versa.
Correct.
So they were saying that both of you needed to be in office the week before the trip.
To allegedly get caught up on work. And that's where I was just like, okay, we were going to do that anyway. Like, me and
I don't know
Stoney
if
had
I'm
already
gonna
had
make
our
it through this
conversation.
episode.
Yes, you will.
It's like bringing me back. Like,
We had already had our conversation of what we were going to do to make sure that our little tiny department succeeded. So reading those two, I was just like, girl, shut up.
You're at this point, it's like, it's annoying.
Because I don't need you to tell me what to do. I've been
Right.
doing my job well before you got here.
Right,
Check my metrics.
right.
Okay.
And you came from the DMV
Thank you. I can do this in my sleep.
in your sleep. Exactly.
I don't need you to tell me what to do.
It's just triggering to hear this again. It pisses me off.
PTSD from it.
I know. Keep going.
So one of the other contingencies was there was a team member who was considered our backup, Kim Zolciak. We had to ask Kim Zolciak if she would come in to do one of our job duties while we were out. I also want to keep in mind that we were going to be gone the week of Thanksgiving. So we were asking for 5 days minus Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We had to ask Kim Zolciak to come in and post checks while we were gone. And we had to ask her before we could submit our time for approval. Wild.
Yes. So Kim Zolciak is the backup for Tyler.
She is
Period.
the backup.
Period. There's a period at the end.
And vice versa. We're her backup.
Yes. So when Kim Zolciak needs to take time off as a one-person team, because she's a one-person
She
team,
is a one-person team.
did Kim Zolciak have to ask y'all?
Never. She would be gone days that we had no idea. All of a sudden, we're getting your phone calls. But that was the norm. We were her backup and vice versa. So I didn't know where that contingency came from. Because first of all, I'm not going to anybody and I'm not asking them anything.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
Right. This is racism.
Peak.
Point blank. Period.
Peak.
Kim Zolciak is a white employee.
Mm-hmm.
The two managers are white employees, and they are bullying already off the bat the black team.
Correct.
Why are you getting contingencies
To take
time off?
that I've earned.
And you guys aren't even the lowest staffed team. Because there's one-person teams in the department.
Yes, there's about 3 of them.
There's 3 of them. And you guys are a 2-person team.
Mm-hmm. So
what happens when that
they
one
take our-
person?
Yeah, what do they do? What do they do?
I think that's fucking wild.
Do they go around
We're not
saying,
even
please
halfway
walk,
through the list.
please can I have some more? Like that's
Right.
that's how I felt when I was reading that.
And you have to understand how egregious it is that you tell these employees, hey, if you want to take time off, you need to go ask this other employee for permission to do your work while you're gone. No. That's what you do.
That's your job.
You're the manager. It's your job to make sure operations run while I'm out. How fucking dare you?
You're supposed to ensure that there is staffing to take care of what needs to be done. And the fact that there's a 2-person team that's going to be on vacation, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. Plus, I had been advocating for a 3rd person for our team for this very specific reason.
Right.
Because if me and Stoney drop dead,
What are you gonna do?
because nobody else can do what we did. They ignored it every time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a 3rd contingency. Another contingency that blew me was that we could not take off any future requests for like PTO or vacation.
This is where I came in. But keep going.
And when I was reading it, I was like, what the hell does that mean? We can't take off for any future PTO.
So they were saying after you took this trip, you could not take PTO again?
Yeah, that's how I read it. And I was just like, what?
And again,
Why am I being
PTO
punished?
is created because you're working, so you earn your PTO.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me the PTO that I earn in the future, I'm not allowed to take because I have the nerve to use PTO that I've earned right. Are you sent from hell?
Yeah, she was. She was.
Are you sent from Satan himself? What does that even fucking mean?
When I read it, I said,
If we let you take this vacation, don't take vacation again.
"This is it." All right.
And I want to say this too. Corporate is all about law and order. It is this very just stringent type of atmosphere. There are rules, and you get to know them very quickly, and there's just a behavior pattern that you follow. And so just hearing these is so fucking wild to me as someone that worked in this, because it's just so outside of the rules that I cannot even believe they put it in writing and sent it to you with a serious fucking face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cannot. There are rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's like driving.
Clearly, she didn't review them before she sent that email, and that's only what contingency 4.
I think she did fucking review them. I think Kenya Moore told her to send it and said, "This is what we're going to say to them."
Well,
and
I think Kenya Moore actually created it. If I be
No, for sure.
Yeah, she created it, and she got Cynthia Bailey to do her dirty work.
Cynthia Bailey is passive and okay.
I'm in there.
Kenya Moore is Satan.
She's the mastermind, and she's been the mastermind for numerous reasons.
Mm-hmm.
This one in particular.
Yeah, I won't even say Satan. I'm actually gonna take that back. It's not satanic shit. It's just a fucking psychopath. It's like it is a textbook like psychopathic, like needs to control everything, like so far removed from any emotional capacity, not operating as like a decent human being. Go ahead, keep going.
Well, imagine how I felt, because prior to that, I had a relationship with
You're right.
Kenya Moore. So I'm reading this. And
Y'all were really close.
yes, I'm in total shock because I'm confused as to like, where's this all coming from?
Right. And you know she's involved because she's copied.
Exactly. So one of the other contingencies were, what was it? Well, we already talked about the no future requests, and then any changes to our trip were subject to approval by management.
Right. So if the dates need to change or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think we touched on this, but you guys you requested your time off 6 months in advance.
Yes.
So
Yes.
6 fucking months before the trip is how much notice you gave them. And I want to say that I don't think anybody else, especially those one-person teams, were giving 6 months notice for trips and taking time off.
No, nobody does. Nobody does that. We were just trying to like dot our I's and cross our T's, make
Yeah.
sure that we did it the right way, because we already kind of knew that the odds were up against us. We're a 2-person team. We're 2 Black women. We're asking for a substantial amount of time off for
We're talking
Pleasure.
about 5 days.
pleasure. Well, to them, 5 days is a lot. Oh my God.
During a holiday week.
Yeah,
So the company's closed for one of those days.
exactly. Oh my God, I won't even get secured.
And I'm sure some of those days are also a weekend,
Yes,
which you guys didn't work weekends.
exactly.
So we're talking about minimum 3 days the company isn't even using titles.
Mm-hmm. Because what? The DMV is what? Closed.
That you would not have been doing anything.
Yeah, so that was the 4th one or 5th, whatever one. The next one was no future requests would be granted.
This is where.
But no, that was another one. You're not allowed to call out, but any future requests to like take vacations off together,
Okay.
they were saying like no to that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Alright. So, don't ever ask to do this again.
This was
Let
a
you
one-time thing, yeah.
And then this was the most egregious one to me, because now we're basically talking about slavery.
Yeah.
You said you're not allowed to ever call out again.
Mm-hmm. Because what does that mean? What does that mean if I get sick? What does that mean if my daughter gets sick?
And I just want to say, at this company, I know it's not always like this, but at this company, when you call out, it's not a problem.
No.
It is standard business. We have sick time. We all use it. People call out constantly. It is a thing. So to tell somebody that they're not allowed to call out, first of all, if you're telling people they're not allowed to call out, then you're saying you always have to be at work. And that is a motherfucking lie.
Yeah.
Because you don't own me, bitch.
But also, management doesn't, they call out all the time as well. So why am I being held to that?
It's not even about that. It's you basically saying you're not allowed to not be here. And that is fucking... Now
That's
we're getting
loony.
we're crossing lines
Yeah.
to me where you're talking to me as though I'm not an employee, and more so of I have no autonomy and you have some sort of ownership over me. And this is where I came alive.
Yeah, so after I read those, which, let's keep in mind, it took me about 30 seconds to skim through those. Stoney had already reviewed it, but Stoney is very calm. She's very cool, collected. Me, I'm a crash out. But I immediately sent it to you.
Why did you send it to me?
Because I wanted to know your thoughts on it, because remember, I was agreeing to some of them, because I just wanted to make sure that I could get the trip.
Right.
So I was like, you know what, let me send this to my lawyer real quick to make sure that it's okay to do this.
Right. And people did this all the time with me.
Yes.
If somebody was in a bit of a pickle,
A bind.
in a bit of a bind, they sent it to me, and I would read it over. I'd write emails for people and stuff like that, and send shit to HR and stuff like that for people all the time. And I love to do it because I hate the system and I hated the company, and I was always there to do stuff like that. Immediately when I got it, I hit the fucking roof. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I had been there for so long, I had never seen a manager do something.
I remember us talking on the phone, probably maybe 2-3 minutes after you looked at it, and you were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I've never seen this
In my life.
in my life. And as soon as you said that, that's when I got activated. Because I said, oh no, now you really got me messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So you helped us draft up some responses, and we responded to
Line by line.
each contingency. And I told Stoney, I said, look, we're going to have to do this as a team, because they typically know me as the one with the mouth.
Yeah. So we need to stand united.
Correct.
We cannot be divided on this. So when we respond, y'all both needed to be on the email and everything.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm gonna say so we went line by line. So for instance, the one that was you're not allowed to call out in the future. Next to that, we put please clarify what you mean by I am not allowed to call out in the future. So basically, we wanted them to explain these contingencies and really, really, really fucking say it out loud.
In writing.
Yes.
Because you've already started.
Yeah, for sure. So we send it off. What was the response from them?
We get a response back from Kenya Moore. And she didn't answer any of our questions. She basically just said, okay, well, since you're not in
Very
agreement.
strategic, by the way. Not answering the questions.
Yeah. Since you're not in agreement with the contingencies, we will assume that you two won't be taking your vacation.
We didn't like it. And I told Stoney, I said, respond back to them and tell them to set up a meeting with HR.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. Because the thing is, you sent these outrageous fucking demands to me.
And then you don't want to explain them.
Yeah. I asked you to clarify them.
And you
now
don't
you
want
don't want to
to
explain them. So we're going to fucking human resources.
Yeah, we're not even going to.
Yeah.
I said, we're not even going to entertain this back and forth communication. It's like arguing with a boyfriend. I'm not going to do this with you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Send it on.
Yeah, for sure. For fucking sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I know as soon as y'all fucking went to HR and sent it, the whole fucking dynamic changed.
Oh, I was pissed. And this was after I had a couple conversations with you.
Because this was your girl too.
Yes.
Y'all were cool.
I mean, this was, we had a good work relationship. I was on the party committee. I brought a lot of the department together in terms of
morale. You brought a lot of morale to the department.
And you're going to piss me off? Oh, I'm going to do you one better.
Yep.
I'm going to shake this shit up.
This happens to me. And there was a quote that I saw one time about this that basically said, the more you come home to yourself and the more that you settle into yourself and ask more for yourself, that's when people really start, and this was about blackness, people start to treat you shitty.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you are like agreeable and the people are getting like the most,
they're getting what
palpable,
they want out of you.
Yeah, they're getting like the most agreeable parts of us, the beautiful, fun, the parts that they get to really thrive off of, and the parts that really benefit a space. They are happy to have that. That's what they want, right?
Right.
But as soon as a black woman is like, yeah, no, I am going to do something for myself, or I'm going to fucking like, I don't agree with your way of things, or your idea about something is not my idea about something, they're done. They're done. They cut you off completely. And it's so fucking easy for them to do. And that's exactly what happened in this situation. And so I know as soon as you guys fucking went to and that's the other thing, you stood up for yourself. So,
because were we not supposed to? Were we just supposed to say yes and
no,
go
you
along
weren't
with
supposed
it?
to.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
so
you weren't supposed to.
They shouldn't be surprised.
They wanted you to shut the fuck up and go by the contingencies, and they wanted to create a dynamic where
Not
you never asked again.
On my watch.
Yes, absolutely. Not on mine either.
Definitely not on yours.
Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, first of all, I already knew that this wasn't gonna fucking fly. Because going back, the fucking rules. There's rules.
Yes.
It's like the fucking Sopranos. You can't just, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that.